Welcome in. Welcome, welcome. If you're just joining me, I hope you're having a lovely day. I actually got done early today and I wanted to share this with you. So maybe you're struggling with something. We all struggle with something. And let me put it here. We all struggle with something, right? But it's a matter of acknowledging that we're struggling with something and then how can we break free from it. So let's put you here. So if you come in, please hit the thumbs up, or you don't have to. But whatever you're going through, just know that you're not alone. Whether it's addiction of drugs, whether it's an addiction of alcohol, whether it's an addiction of, watching things, we all can break free from the addictions. But what I want to share with you in this message is some of the ways by prayer and fasting that we can break free from it. The first step is always the hardest, and it's about acknowledging that we actually have a problem, and sometimes we really don't know. Hey Barry, welcome in. Welcome, welcome. Look at this. The hardest part is acknowledging that we actually have a problem. Look at this chicken coop, right? Because the thing is we all have pride and we don't like to acknowledge that we actually have problems. But no matter what stage of your life you're in, whether you're a child or whether you're an adult, we all struggle with things. But as you get an adult, the things get harder. But some teenagers get addicted to stuff, and then it's really hard to break free. Okay, so this is gonna be on prayer and fasting, and it's a key that has helped me. Um, I struggled with the addiction of smoking cigarettes, and I know it seems like just like a little addiction, but it wasn't, because it took over everything in my entire life. And I watched my mom die from smoking. I watched my dad die from smoking. I watched my grandmother die from smoking, and I watched my Aunt Louise die from smoking. So it wasn't a little addiction because it was taking over my life. And the thing is when I what I had seen was the thing that made me want to quit. I didn't like smoking. I enjoyed it, but I didn't, because number one, it was way too expensive. A lot of times it is expensive, but most people aren't even looking at that. They're just into the addiction. They just got to get this addiction right. So it takes over every part. Like when I would drink coffee, gotta have the cigarette. Hey Tanishik, welcome in. When I would have a coffee, gotta have a cigarette. When I would drive in the car, gotta have a cigarette. When I would have a beer, gotta have a cigarette, right? It became every single part. When I wake up, gotta have a cigarette. I'm talking about breaking free from addictions, whether it's getting a breakthrough in our lives. That's what I'm talking about. And if you look at the topic, I'm going to base it on prayer and fasting. But it's not always about food. It's about addictions, or it's about food. It could be anything that we're addicted to. But so maybe you're struggling with credit, credit debt, or this could be for anybody struggling with lustful desires, right? Or this could be for anybody that has an addiction of, I put the fill in the blank, because we're all at a different stage, right? I'm actually in, where am I? In New Brunswick by Rutgers. Um, what do I want to say? I want to base this on prayer and fasting. So first of all, let's just open up with a prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, I come to you in your Son, Jesus Christ's name, Lord, asking that the viewer, myself, Lord, that you open the eyes to our heart, and that there is no judgment here, God. You don't judge us like that, but you want us to be free from these chains of addictions, no matter what it is, because it holds us back from what you want to do in our lives. And sometimes it does bring a lot of shame, the chains of these addictions. So, hey, Lauren, give me 1 minute. I'm just in the middle of prayer. So, whatever is the other person and myself are experiencing, Lord, that we know it's by your design that we don't want to be stuck in these addictions, right? In your son's holy and precious name, amen. Now, maybe you don't believe in Jesus or anything, but that's what I'm basing this message on, you know. Uh, okay, so let's see. So Jesus was always teaching his disciples like how to, he was driving out demons and stuff, if you don't know that. And demons do exist, but when you have God, you know, you have the Holy Spirit, so they can't possess you. But there is demons that walk this earth. And because the devil and his demons were casted out of heaven. But when you have God's Spirit in you, you have the Spirit of God inside you. But sometimes we do turn to substances, and that takes, it puts like a chain on us. Even though we're free, we're stuck in these mental, they're mental addictions, like in a prison in our head, or it could be addictions of addiction. I mean, chains of addiction, right? Call me MN if you find Tini. That's okay, MN. Thank you for coming in. I'm pretty good at pronouncing people's names. Tanisha, right? Well, so when Jesus heals a boy, this is just going to be an example. So he says in Mark chapter 9, verse 14 and 29, so Jesus and his disciples returned to the crowd. A man knelt in front of him and said, Lord, have pity on my son. He has a bad case of epilepsy and often falls into the fire or into water. I brought him to your disciples, but none of them could heal him. Jesus said, you people are too stubborn to have any faith. How much longer must I be with you? Why do I have to put up with you? Bring the boy here. Then Jesus spoke sternly to the demon and went out of the boy, and right then he was healed. Later, the disciples went to Jesus in private and asked him, why couldn't we force out the demon? Jesus replied, it's because you don't have enough faith, but I can promise you this, if you had faith no larger than a mustard seed, you could tell this mountain to move from here to there, and everything would be possible for you. Okay, so it's all about, what had came to my mind was prayer and fasting. So maybe you're struggling with something and you're asking somebody to pray for you, or let's say your uncle, for example, is addicted to alcohol. Okay, for example, this is just an example. Okay, there's many addictions. Food is an addiction. So you ask somebody to pray for you to, you know, help you break this, right? So it goes hand in hand. So if we're praying for someone to heal us, right, we have faith that we're going to be set free. We have faith. We received a breakthrough. But then also it's about fasting. So let's say your uncle or yourself has a problem with alcohol. We have to fast from our mind. So if you're watching stuff where people are drinking, it's going to start bringing them thoughts in that you want to have this drink, right? And we need professional help sometimes. It doesn't just go, you know, sometimes we just have to seek professional help. Hey, Prashant, how are you? Welcome in. So if we're trying to get this breakthrough, so that person is going to have to, so where you're going, the places you're going, so a bar is not going to be a place where you're going to want to go anymore. So you're going to have to change your places of where you're going. So instead of going to a bar, let's go to a juice bar. You know, you got to change that thing. So it's about fasting from the places that if you want to have a breakthrough, let's say the friends you're hanging out are, you know, that's the whole entire lifestyle has been just based on drinking. Well, if you're going to hang over there, it's really hard when you have a problem with something to abstain from drinking if it's in front of you. So sometimes people aren't going to understand, but when you are struggling with an addiction, It's so imperative. If you're praying, you have to fast too. It's not going to go away. It's a demon that wants to sit with you. So you have to abstain from that, which means you fast from it. So you don't go to the bars, and you can't hang out with certain people, because that was the whole entire lifestyle that you guys had created together. That was the only thing that the friendship was built on, right? And they'll understand. And if they don't understand, that's fine, because alcohol ruins people's lives. It's good in moderation. There's nothing wrong with drinking. But when it has become, something that's taken over your entire life, you spend all your money, time, energy on it, that's when it starts taking over your life. And when you're drunk and you can't go to work, that's when it becomes a problem. Let's see what it says. This is actually, what is this? East Jersey, Old Town. There's a police station. They're having a barbecue. I'm in East Jersey, Old Town. But what else do I want to talk about? Okay, so let's say credit debt, for example. You're stuck in debt. Now, sometimes it's not you, it's your spouse who's racking up all this credit debt, right? And I'm not trying to start problems, but the credit debt is accumulated together. So when you are spending that money and you just can't pay the bills, we're stuck in this debt, for years to come. So what winds up happening, it causes problems in a relationship, because it puts a chain on you. Alcohol is okay in moderation. Jesus turned the water into wine at the wedding, but we're not supposed to be drunk all the time. It's like a celebration, but when we're constantly drunk, that's when it becomes the problem. It's like with anything else. But so let's say, for example, credit debt, for example, a lot of times relationships, they break up because somebody goes out and they start spending the credit debt, and the other person has no idea, and then by the time they do know, it's $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in debt. And if that's not a big deal, if you have the money, that's one thing. But if it's 29% interest or 12%, you won't get out of debt for years to come. But there is programs. But if you do come to that moment, you have to fast and pray. So even if you, like, maybe that was your lifestyle, you're going out to the mall, you just buy whatever you want, you get on QVC and you're just shopping till your heart's desire, right? But you're just putting on credit card. You're not responsible for these debts. So what winds up happening is you have to cut that out. So it's fasting from going on these websites to buy, fasting from going out to these stores. If you need something, then we wait till we get it on cash. We wait till we have the cash. This is how you break in. You can cut up your credit card and you can cancel the credit card. You'll still be responsible, but this is one way you could break free out of the credit cycle. And it's painful. The reason people don't want to do it is because they want to go out. They want what they want when they want it, And I had the same thing. I was spending money I didn't have, and I could see if you need something. But a lot of times what people do is they just spend the money they don't have, and they wind up in this credit thing. So it's like somebody could try to help you, but if you're going behind the back and keep spending this money, and I don't want to put the kids on the camera, if you keep spending and spending, you'll never break out of the cycle of being stuck in this chain of debt and not be responsible, right? Yeah, it depends on cost. Oh, Prashant, I don't know. Well, You know, at celebrations, weddings, it's very common that we have really good wine and stuff like that. And back in the day, the reason, I didn't know the whole reason it was so big, but it would have been something. Now, this is Dr. Yusuf, he's a pastor. He said it was such a big deal that for 20, 30 years they would have made fun. If it would have been a disgrace to that family that they had run out of wine. So Jesus had blessed them by turning the water into wine, you know. So that was one way he blessed them. But when it takes over everything, it's like the spirit, the demon of addiction takes over, right? So we could ask God for a breakthrough. But if we're continuing down this path of doing the same exact thing, we can't break free from that, you know? So let's say you need a breakthrough. I'm trying to think of it. Let's say, I'm just trying to think. I don't want to get my truck in the picture. It's really nice over here. It's Old Town. It's like historic houses. Oh, look at the little bird. The first step to getting help is the first step in acknowledging we have a problem is the hardest, you know. And like I said, we're all struggling with something. Like, I'm trying to think. It's the bus. I just hope this helps you. And, you know, it's based on the Bible. And when we're fasting from something, we're not supposed to make our faces look all somber. We're supposed to, wash the face, put some oil on, and, not make people have pity on us, But, we do need a support group when you're going through something. There's just like, if you're trying to break, let's say, for example, like, drugs or something, the people that you're hanging out with, if that has been the people that you're hanging out with, all your friends, a lot of times your whole scenery is going to change. So it's like, if that's causing you to fall into temptation, then you have to change friends. It's hard because we built a relationship with these people, but, God wants you free from those, from, being stuck in bondage. It keeps us stuck in the bondage, right? Look how beautiful. I actually got done work early today. I just stopped with the truck. I gotta find a Bible verse. It's let me see if I can find the Bible verse real quick. Okay. All right, so this is a hyperbole. So the biblical passage, this is AI overview. The biblical passage that refers to cutting off your hand is found in Matthew chapter 18, 8-9. These verses use hyperbole or extreme exaggeration to emphasize the importance of avoiding sin and turning away from anything that leads to it. So, okay, so let's say, all right, so Matthew 5:29-30. And it's not, I'm not saying to literally, take off your hand. This is like, I just read the beginning, so please. So similarly, these verses state, if your right hand causes you to sin, get rid of it. It says something else and throw it away. The idea is that if something in your life, even a seemingly good part of yourself, is causing you to sin, you should be willing to remove it, even at a great cost to avoid eternal punishment. So it's not literally, we're not taking off our hand, but let's say, all right, your friend is your right hand man or your right hand woman. They're bringing you something that is hurting your body. You need to step away from these people. So that's what I'm talking about. Hey, Kendra, what's going on, girl? That's what I'm talking about when I say that. And let's say you're struggling with lust of the flesh, right? Like there's some channels I don't go on because it's a man half naked, okay? And I mean, they look good, okay? But the thing is, it's gonna take my eyes away from my fiance. I love my fiance, but I can't sit there and stare at a half naked man. It's just, they look good. I mean, I got eyes for my man, but still, we're still human, right? It's just is what it is. On a break. All right. Where are you at? You working, Kendra? It's not too much on a break, so I want to pop in. Thank you. Let's say, um, let's say you're struggling with the flesh, and we're all human. It doesn't matter whether you're Christian or not, we're all human. So we are attracted to people, either same sex or opposite sex. It doesn't matter. I'm no judgment here, whatever it is. But if you're in a committed relationship and your friends ask you if you want to go to like a place where there's half naked people dancing, your eyes are going to wander after the flesh, and you don't know if something can happen there. So it's really not, I can't tell you what to do, but it's really not a good idea to do that. Or if you're struggling with the lust of the flesh, it's not really a good place you want to go into. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to desire that. It's like you get a taste of that, and then you want more and more and more. So, hey, how are you, Jory? So I don't know. I hear some of the channels, they say like, we never have a bad thought, and you don't lust, blah blah blah. Like, no, we're human, and sometimes people do look good, but the thing is don't look more than you have to. Just glance, but don't keep staring and staring and staring, because it takes your heart away from your spouse. And that's what you want to try to do. I can't tell you what to do. It's not, no control here or no judgment, but I'm just telling you, this is, if you're struggling with something, this is a way you can break free from these things. It's about, so your mind, body, soul, and spirit. So even listening to certain music, a lot of music is over sexually hyperalized, whatever you want to say. Because I mean, I used to listen to music like that. Now it kind of just turns me off. Obviously, if you're with your partner, something like that. But some of it is so raunchy and explicit that it's embarrassing in front of my kids to even listen to this music. It's like they don't have no shame in saying anything, and it's just the dirtier it is. It's like that's going into your mind, and it starts to make you think like that. Whatever you watch, whatever you listen to, whatever you eat, eat, it goes into your body, and it does affect you every way. Like Kendra, she does all exercise and stuff like that. She helps people, with their bodies and stuff, and mind. She does all positive videos. So it's encouragement. But everybody's different what they're struggling with. So this video, that's why I'm giving you these tips. It's not it's not any judgment or anything, but if you're trying to break free from these habits, that's why I wanted to share this. So it's about fasting from it, and it's not just food. It's about what we watch, what we listen to, what we hear. If that thing, so you pay attention, see yourself. Everybody, you test yourself and see what is making me, you know, like lusting after this person or whatever. So then you cut it out, because once you start getting the thought of this, then it could turn into something else, you know, especially if you're going into a place, a strip club or something like that. I didn't want to say that, but you know, it's half naked people. Sometimes they're naked. So come on, we are human beings. It's just normal, you know. So if you're in a committed relationship, please try to avoid these places, because as much as you love your partner, these people that are dancing and stuff, they're gonna, you know, touch you and stuff like that, and that is not right in a committed relationship, you know. It's not an open relationship. When you're in a committed relationship, it's supposed to be between two people, bond, you know, shared intimacy. But I know, but this is just supposed to be serious, you know, just to help you. No judgment. But if you're like I said, if you're having trouble with certain things, this could help you. Thanks for coming in, Kendra. I'm at home. We homeschool, so just having a lunch break. Oh well, girl, you're unbelievable. I could never homeschool. It's a lot of work, but nowadays it's so important, you know. Look at this. I hope this message helped you, and wherever you find yourself, just know that you're not alone, and there is support groups out there, you know, and you don't have to be ashamed, because we're all struggling with something, you know, and we're human. If somebody tells you they never get like a lustful thought, it's a lie, you know. That's why I told you, like, if I watch a channel, a man on there and his body is just ripped, and you know, he's good looking, your eyes drift a little bit. My heart's still with my fiance, but still, I don't want to do that, because it's still like that, you know. So you watch yourself, and test yourself. Nobody else could test you. You know, your gods will speak to your heart. And the hardest thing is being honest with ourselves. It is. But when you're honest with yourself, you know, God can open your eyes. So hopefully this helps you out in the field. Every day is a new day, guys. This is in Old Town, East Brunswick. What does it say? Health, it's stretching. Light stretching. Birds are really pretty, right? Birds are so wacky sometimes. Well, God, it's so nice out here. I haven't been over to your channel in so long, Kendra. Well, I'm going to get off of here. I'm going to sign off, but I hope you guys have a fabulous day, and that this helps you if you're struggling with anything. And I just want to let you know you're not alone, because we're all going through something. It just seems like it at the moment, because it's so painful to change, but you can do it. But if somebody's praying for you, it's fast and prayer, and you pray and fast, and you receive the power, you know. Like I said, I told you I struggled. There's many things I struggled with, but a big addiction was smoking cigarettes. But I had to cut it out, because I could see myself. I lost 4 people in my family, maybe more, just from smoking cigarettes, and it took their lives, you know, short. Even if I do live, I don't want to be stuck on oxygen if I can help it, you know. I want to live a long life, hopefully, but not be stuck on oxygen when I get older. All right, God bless you guys. Have a wonderful day, and like I said, I hope this helped you. Thank you, Kendra, for coming out, and thank you for everyone, Jory. All right, God bless you guys. Have a wonderful day.